Hello princesses! Today I'm going to be doing a full face of products that I have been influenced to buy over the past maybe like 3 to 6 months. It's been a while since I've done any kind of like actual content because I have picked up a few extra jobs this year, and that means that the gaps that I was using during my lunch break are no longer there anymore because I'm not at home anymore. For those who don't know, I do split shift. I work somewhere else during the day, and then I used to come home at 1 o'clock and work from home until 8 p.m. So during the summer, if I had early evenings, I would make videos at night, and generally I'd make videos in that 1 o'clock space, but I don't have those spaces anymore. So I'm here on a Sunday trying to film like maybe a few videos so that I have a bit of content to upload. So the first thing that I was influenced by was actually like a little bow top. Nobody actually influenced me to buy this, but I saw the Love Shack Fancy Stanleys, and we can't get those in New Zealand. So I ended up getting one of these little things off AliExpress for like a few dollars, and it is really, really cute. It's not the same pink as the Starbucks tumbler, which I've had for 5 years now, and I do not plan on replacing my Starbucks tumbler because it is a good size and a good weight. I just feel like the Stanleys are really heavy. My partner has a Stanley, but the little bow on top, it's really cute, and it helps it to not kind of like leak if I take it with me, because I take it everywhere I go at the moment because it is still summer in New Zealand. So this has been one of my favorite purchases. Wasn't even influenced by, but so cute. So I'm gonna keep the glass, like I'm gonna take the glasses on and off a lot during this because I do need glasses to see, and I have noticed that because my eyesight still settling. I only started needing glasses in my mid-20s. I'm finding that a lot of my footage is out of focus. I will like focus in on something and then it'll go out of focus, but these are so glary. You can see like my entire backyard and none of my eyes. So the glass is going to go on and off, sorry. And this is just really in the hopes that the content is going to be a little bit better. It's just a bit close. But anyway, this one is going to be very yappy, so if you're wanting the long form video, this is it. But I'm going to try and make these into shorts as well. Not for TikTok, just for YouTube. Just for shorter term content, because not everybody wants to see and listen to like a 20-minute video of me yapping about stuff. So we'll see how that goes. So we are in focus, stay in focus. Glasses get to come off, so we can see the skin. The skin has been moisturized and sunscreened, but maybe like 2 hours ago. I'm going to go in with something to start with that has not been influenced. This one I was given it by, I think, YesStyle most likely. It's the Hamish Artless Glow Base, and I have been really liking this one because now that I am in my 30s, my skin actually is starting to get towards being dry, and a lot of the products that I was using are no longer looking good on my skin because they just look really flaky. So I'm doing something that I would have never done in my 20s because I have been on YouTube for a very long time, and I used to have oily, acne-prone skin. I went on Accutane for 2 years. I was really happy with it to start with because my skin cleared up, and it was okay because when I was younger, I don't know, I just must have been making much more oil, so that was probably why I was getting the acne. But it also meant that like there were lots of other parts of my body that were more dry. It's like my eyes and my lips, among other things. I have now got eczema in my ears. Like my ear canal has dry skin. It's bizarre stuff like that. And they all happened after, many years after I stopped taking Accutane. And so I would have normally never used a moisturizing or glowy base, especially in my T-zone. Oh my god, but I need it because otherwise around my nose, doesn't matter how much I moisturize, doesn't matter how much I like use exfoliants, it just looks horrendous. I'm a bit sad about it, but what can you do? The next thing was something that I'm not super sure about. I was influenced by one of my students actually. It's one of the Glow Recipe Dewy products. So this is the Dewy Flush Watermelon Glow Niacinamide, and this is a tinted serum. I got mine in the shade Berry Flush, and I swatched them and I was like, these are really cute. I feel like they were supposed to be used for like your day-to-day rather than under makeup or over makeup. So there are a few ways to use it, so I'm going to demonstrate both of them because you'll see. So this is the berry color, very cute. There is also a watermelon colour, but I didn't like it because it was so orange. That was not my favourite thing. So the first thing that you can do is obviously apply it as a blush straight to the skin. So if you were not wearing any makeup, I think that's actually quite cute. It's a bit much for me, personally. I'm not a heavy blush kind of girly pop, but it does give a really nice glow. I think for me personally, it actually highlights a lot of the hyperpigmentation because my hyperpigmentation is sort of a bit more on the red side. So in adding this to my skin, I feel like it looks, I can see a lot more of the hyperpigmentation, and I don't like to use so much of it that you can really see a bunch. So I'm sorry that on camera that doesn't look like a huge amount, but that's realistic because I would not wear a huge amount personally. And this is what it would look like. I think that for me, this is kind of cute, but it's not something that I would do. One, because it increases the look of my hyperpigmentation on my cheeks that I cannot get rid of. And two, it looks quite splotchy because I'm trying to share it out a lot. Because it is a fairly deep color for me personally, when you share it out, it just looks a little bit patchy. So I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to put the glasses back on. So it definitely doesn't look all that flushed anymore, but it does look quite splotchy. And you can see a lot of like, I feel like it sits in some of the texture specifically right here, which is really weird. And then this is what the other side looks like. This is a birthmark, so ignoring this because that obviously it's not something that's going to cover that. There's still a lot of hyperpigmentation around here, but it's and like texture, but it's nowhere near as obvious as this side now. So I'm definitely on the fence with this one. I'm going to show you what it looks like over the top of a foundation as well, which is definitely how I would normally wear it. But considering it was like, I think 47 or 57 New Zealand dollars, it's quite expensive. And I don't think if I wear it over the top of a foundation, I'm going to get those serum benefits. So I don't think it's worth my money, personally. The next primer is actually a double whammy primer. So I've got the Hamish one for glowiness, and then I got this little tester. Nobody influenced me for this one. It just came with a bunch of stuff from Becca. From Hourglass, this is the Vanish Airbrush Primer, and to start with, I didn't think that I liked it, but when I started using it regularly and with another product, this is when I started to really enjoy it. So much so that I'm considering buying the full size. The full size is very expensive. But what it does is it helps the makeup to lay a little bit more flat over the top of these specific areas where I have got more of that texture. So I'm avoiding around my nose because that is not a place where I need this specifically, but I can put it there if I want to. But just these little parts here where I have a few extra spots that are a little bit more visible for the texture, that is where that's going, and it does a really good job. I really want to see if I can find a dupe. Definitely we have some Nina Pool things coming as well. I think that I might have to do like a skincare separate one for Nina Pool though, because they're mostly skincare. But I feel like this works really well. The next ones are actually from Nina Pool in a way. So we have the Revolution Skin Silk Foundation. This is the Luminous Serum Foundation, and I have the shade F1, which is, actually I think it said it was neutral, but it's close enough for me. And I'm going to be mixing it with a milky toner, but this one is from Ilia. The reason that I don't have the Bioma one is because they don't sell, well, they started selling Bioma recently, but they don't have the milky toner. They have everything else. I think everything else. But I have a few Bioma products, but I only got them 2 days ago. Today's Sunday. I got them on Friday from Sephora, which we don't have in my hometown, so I have to go on Friday. So I've been using the Ilia makeup, the Ilia Base Face Milk, and this was, I was influenced to buy this by, I live by a motorway, a few blocks down that way, and I think that that was like a bunch of motorbikes. I was influenced to buy the Milky Base by a creator called Lydia on TikTok as well, and she just uses it all the time. But because it's a milky base and the Bioma is a milky toner, I am going to mix these. Now for Nina Pool's one, she does mix the more matte foundation, and I am not doing that. I am mixing the more luminous one. The reason is because the luminous, even the luminous one, still pops up all of those dry bits on my skin. So mixing this with the milky toner works really well as well. And so this one is not a terrible match for me. It's not quite right on my face, but it does match the back of my hand quite well. And I have started going back to using cushion puffs to apply my makeup because they don't lift up the skin. So I had a phase where I was using cushion puffs for everything, every single time. And then I went away from that and started using a foundation brush. And then I went away from that and started using like a buffing brush. And now we full circle back to the cushion puffs. I don't know, I just feel like they work better. But the addition of the milky base works really well for this foundation for me personally. It does sheer out the coverage a lot, so I have a concealer that I'm going to go in with as well. And I'll show you guys how that works too. I feel like I didn't mix up quite enough, but this is giving a really nice, smooth, luminous coverage to the skin. And the reality is that I don't have that much to cover, thankfully, anymore. But you know, it does look nice, and it looks natural for me personally, which is good. So we're gonna go all over. I don't usually cover my birthmark because what's the point? You're gonna see through it anyway, unless I'm using something that's super, super high coverage, which I'm not. This is medium coverage and then sheared out. So that doesn't work as well. And the skin is looking very nice and hydrated, and I don't quite have enough. So I'm gonna have to mix the product up again, or just kind of try and tap any excess out, which I think I will do first, because I don't always put that much coverage up around my forehead. Why? I don't know. Well, usually I have bangs. I need to wash my hair today, so that's why it's up. Now that the foundation is on, you can see that on this side you can't really see the glow serum anymore, so for the blush, which is why I've still got some on the back of my hand. So we're going to go back in with the blush, and we're going to pop in a little bit here, and then on the other side as well. Oop, that was a lot. And I'm going a little bit more heavy-handed this time because I'm not going to use my fingers to blend it in. I'm going to use the same cushion puff that I used before, and we are going to tap like that. And so you can still see that it actually brings out a bit more of the hyperpigmentation still. I don't know, it must be the colour. But the watermelon one was very orange, and I don't do oranges all that much. I do love a good berry blush. And so, I don't know, maybe I need a heavier foundation. You can hardly even see it on that one. Maybe it's because of the sunlight. It's really strong on camera, in real life. So that one actually needs a little bit more. But I don't know, I just feel like the Glow recipe, it's not that great for me. It's quite patchy, even with that on as well. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to zoom. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's okay. But I can get the same finish from like a liquid blush for $5. And because, yeah, this one you can't really see anything at all because of the light, I think. And it is quite expensive because it has the skincare in it. However, because it works best for me over the top of the foundation, I'm really not getting that skincare benefit. So for me personally, it's not a go. I think that if you had younger skin, which I think is what it's marketed for, then it would be a fantastic product because you're getting that beautiful glow and you probably don't have hyperpigmentation to worry about, and you won't be wearing it over the top of foundation. So that is a totally different use case, and I do think that it has its place. It's just not for me. The next product is the Makeup Forever HD Skin Concealer, Anti-Smooth and Blur Undetectable Concealer, and I have mine in the shade 3F01? No, 1.2R, maybe. I was influenced to buy this by another creator who cannot remember her name. She is very fair. She has like a brownish hair as well. I will find it. I promise. And this is actually a really, really great concealer, because I find for me personally, a lot of concealers are very drying. This one is not drying. Well, it's a lot less drying. So I'm using a fluffy brush from Morphe. This is, I don't know what it is. It doesn't have anything on it, but it was cheap. And I'm just going to stipple this underneath the eye for me. And I like to use this little fluffy brush because it gets right into this little corner here where I've got quite a lot of darkness, and my fingers, I don't have fat fingers, I swear, but my fingers just do not want to, you know, get in there and blend out. And so this is actually really beautiful. It brightens that up really nicely. It's a little bit lighter than my own skin tone, but just a touch. But that looks a lot better, so we'll zoom in. And so you can see that that little shadow pretty much gone. I don't like it to be too heavy, so I don't mind that there is still a little bit of something there. You can still see a bit of a crease or something. Whatever. Nobody cares that much. But it's really nice, and then when I smile, it doesn't sort of get creased up. So I am going to sit with powder. I'm going to do the other one. So this one works really well around the sides of the nose as well if I've got a lot of redness that day, which sometimes happens, especially if I've used a exfoliant. Yeah, the corner of my nose is just like really sensitive now. It didn't used to be. I used to be out there like, as a teen, I would be like scratching the sides of my nose with my fingernails because the only exfoliants you could buy back in those days were like the St. Ives scrubs. We all know how those go. So just a little bit of concealer. I think that the influencer that was talking about this concealer was definitely using their fingers, which I do sometimes use, and it works well. And I'm going to put a little bit on the chin because we've got a little bit of redness today as well. I had a facial yesterday, but it was just a hydrating facial, so they did a little bit of a scrub, but nothing massive. And then I'm also going to do, I have a few scars on my upper lip. I don't know why, it just scars real bad. So whenever I have any like pimples, or I do get cold sores as well, so awful. Whenever I get any of those, they scar up like mad, and they're always around my mouth. So that, my cheeks get a lot of hyperpigmentation as well. And yeah, they're really hard to, it's really hard to clear them up. So just a touch of concealer works really well. I don't like to do too much because I do move my mouth a lot. In the sense that during the day I'm a teacher. And so this is how the base is looking. I think that it is really nice. So I'm a huge fan of using the double primers. I really enjoy mixing the milky toner in with the foundation, and that works as well for quite a few of my foundations as well, because I'm trying to finish up my NARS foundation at the moment. And then the concealer I think makes a massive difference as well. The next product is a really boring one. It is the Skin Food Peach Sake Pore Powder, which is not called that anymore, it's something else. And I can never remember it. So this one's pretty boring, as it's not an influencer product, it's just something that I personally enjoy. Okay, and that is the base powdered and set. I personally wouldn't put on more blush than this because that's my preference. Can't see anything on this side. I'll try to find better light afterwards, I promise. For the eyes, it's super boring, but I have the Glossier Boy Brow in the shade Dark Brown. This one I've had for a while. I don't think I was influenced to buy it really because I think that New Zealand got Glossier a lot later than everyone else did, so the hype was over. But the way that I'm doing my brows is slightly different, so I've let them grow out a little bit more and a little bit more arched now. Before they used to be quite straight, and then I am doing somewhat of a like flipped up brow. So rather than a really like tightly filled in eyebrow, because I used to use eyebrow powder more so, it's a little bit more brushed up, so it's a little bit more of a youthful technique. And it's just a little bit less. So it's interesting because when I was first doing makeup, we didn't fill in our brows at all. Then we went through the Anastasia period where we did like the dip brow. I never really did the dip brow. It was too much for me personally because I got very dark eyebrows. Then it was like powder filling and using liners to create little brush strokes. And now it's the feathery brows. I'm not a huge fan of the really big feathery brows. This is pretty much all I'll do. Just my own entertainment today, I'm going to do a coloured liner. I'm going to use the Stila Stay All Day Muted Neon Eyeliner, and mine is in the shade Lavender Fields, and oh, there goes the sun. Can we see any more of the blush now? Still nothing on that side. That is the side closest to the window, so I don't know. And this is a really nice eyeliner. I got it on sale. That's why I got that one. Because these are so pastel, you can't really see this pretty much at all. Fantastic. What a great choice. Not really sure how I feel about this one because even I struggle to see this, and it does fade during the day too. Then I'm going to do a quick mascara with my Hamish Daylers mascara, which is incredibly boring. I only influenced myself to buy this. And I love it. I've been using it for like since 2020. Same mascara, not the same bottle. Just to clarify that, I promise. So here are the eyes. You can't see sweet shoot for this one. Yeah, the purple eyeliner may as well not be there for how much you can see it. It's just nothing. Then for lips, we are doing one of the Violette's balms. I have 4 Violette products to talk about anyway, so we're going to talk about those later. I'm going to go with the shiny one. So these are the Bisou Jelly Sheer Lip Shines, and this one is the shade Bonbon à la Rose. So it's like a pinky color. So you can see I've got a nice dip going on and some hair. That's yuck. Okay, I'm actually going to use a lip liner for this one though. So before I put that one on, I'm going to use the Charlotte Tilbury Lip Cheat. This one I was influenced to buy this a very long time ago by Freddie My Love on YouTube. It was so long ago I was influenced on YouTube. And that just helps to define the outside because the Bisou jellies are not that defined. I will show you guys a close-up in a different one so that you can kind of see how it looks. But it has the core is the color and then the outside is the jelly. So when you apply it, it's not necessarily going to give you a very crisp shape, which I think is the point. However, I have a very strong like anatomy line, I guess. Like it's a very obvious sideways if I overline or go over the top. So these sorts of looks where you have that really blurred effect look awful on me, and that's okay. You just use a lip liner and get on with life. But I love that almost gradient effect that it gives, so it has the more color in the middle and then it kind of blurs out towards the outside. Not every trend is going to work for every person's face or anatomy, and so this blurry effect, it doesn't work for me, and that's okay. So this is my full face of influencer bought products for the most part. I do have many more of them. I have been influenced a lot recently rather than being the influencer, which is an interesting turn of events. There will be shorts of all of these products, and then I'm going to be doing a few extra videos just doing swatches and talking about broadly some of the product lines that I've been buying into. So if you'd like to see me talk about these products, you can jump to the next video when it's up. When that will be up, I don't know. I also don't have much time to edit the videos. I've forgotten what I was saying, but yeah, I don't have much time to edit the videos anymore either, so it is what it is. So thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!